The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. InRavio.com.
Glory days today. The Rangers going to the Stanley Cup Playoffs finals for the first time in 20 years.
And our favorite racist, Donald Sterling, is going to make $2 billion.
Wow. The Mets released their hitting coach, and Bobby Baseball will join us to talk about all things about the Mets.
And if you stick around to the end, Mr. B will do a song. Glory days coming up right now. Good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, May 31st, 2014, and you are watching The Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani, and this is my good buddy, Bruce Older. Matt Martin is behind the glass, and you are joining us on InRavio.com, where we broadcast in glorious high definition. Right here at the InRavio studios in the Village Music Shoppy here in beautiful Mastic, Long Island. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, Disco, how are you, man?
All right, long time no see.
It feels like we've been on a vacation or something.
Yeah, you know, we missed 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So that means we haven't been here in 3 weeks.
Yep.
A lot has happened since we left.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what happens in the world.
Probably most significantly, the Rangers are playing some pretty good hockey right now, man. You know,
the freaking Rangers.
Yep. But you know, before we get started, I did want to talk to you about something you put out there on the 17th. I guess that was 2 weeks ago when we missed. You were out at the
Montauk Music Festival.
Montauk Music Festival, and you're hanging out in a bar, and you run into Jimmy Fallon. Is that right?
Jimmy Fallon, you know. And Matt, I asked Jimmy Fallon about you. He says he's going to call you. Oh, he's not listening. Anyway, yeah. So we're in this bar called the Montauk, and it's one of those places that it's like famous for the sunset. Mm-hmm. It just happens to be perfectly set up so that the sunset is beautiful in Montauk. So people just they wait until about 10 minutes before the sunset, and then they descend upon this place like locusts.
I see.
And
so were you there beforehand? Or
what? Yeah, no, we went there specifically for the sunset, and we were having dinner, and we saw the sunset, and it was a sunset. Uh-huh. It was nice. It was a good sunset.
Yeah, it was a nice night.
And it's a little tiny place. Mm-hmm. It holds maybe I don't know. It's got maybe 12, 15 tables for dinner.
Okay.
And, but it's basically a bar that serves dinner.
Okay.
You know, it's not a. And I don't know, there maybe were 40 or 50 people there at the time, and we had gone to see a couple of the musicians, and we saw 3 bands. We specifically were staying for the last band, which came on at 9 o'clock, mm-hmm. because they were like a classic rock band.
Okay.
And they were doing they were really very good. And we were sitting at a table towards the back, because there were 10 of us, mm-hmm. and the waitress comes over, and she says, Jimmy Fallon's here.
Wow.
And everybody goes, yeah, okay, sure. Jimmy Fallon is picking this piece of crap bar to come into.
He does head out to the Hamptons and I guess to Montauk pretty regularly, you know?
He's got a house out there. Now, we didn't know if maybe he knew some of the guys in the band, because this was specifically an East End band. Mm. They had a name, which I just don't remember. But during the course of their set, they called themselves the East End All-Stars.
Okay, as opposed to the East Street Band. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're playing, they're playing music, and Jimmy Fallon is sitting on the edge of the bar, and there's one of those really like drunk guys. That wasn't me, and he was manhandling him. And he's going, no, this and that, and I thought maybe because that guy had been drunk the whole night. We saw that guy drinking. He was pole dancing.
Oh,
it was pretty funny. So anyway, so Jimmy Fallon. I'm trying to get a picture of him, right? Mm-hmm. And my iPhone takes terrible pictures in the dark. Right, so I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to, interrupt him.
Yep.
Could I take a selfie with you? Anything like that. So I run back to the table and I get my wife's. I said, "Give me a camera," and I said, "Because Jimmy Fallon really is here."
Yep.
Nobody really believed it, right? So I try to take a picture with my wife's camera, and he's not there. He's not at the edge of the bar where he was standing. I said, "Oh, crap." So I said, "All right, I'm going to go take a quick leak," mm-hmm. and I go walking towards the bathroom, which is kind of near the exit.
Yeah.
And he comes walking out of the bathroom. I
better lighting in the bathroom. That's good. You got a good picture
I
with
meet
him.
a lot of celebrities in the bathroom. So,
well, that's true. So, ran into Bill Walton that one time, right?
Yeah, that's right. Bill Walton at the
picking up my brother
airport,
right?
Yeah. So I shake his hand. I says, "Hey, you're doing great. It's a great."
Did you
thing."
wash your hands beforehand?
No. He was coming out of the bathroom.
Did he wash his hands?
I don't know. They weren't.
I
wet.
hope so. Okay.
So I said to him, "Hey," I says, "Congratulations on the show." Mm-hmm. He goes, "Thanks, man. Thanks a lot." I says, "You're doing great. I'm a big fan. I really enjoy the show." And he goes to me, he says, "You're not leaving, are you?" I says, "No. Why?" He says, "I'm going to go up and play with the band."
Wow.
I said, "All right." I'll hang out, right? And sure enough, so he got up and he did Roadhouse Blues.
I woke up this morning. I got myself a beer.
He was half in the bag.
Yeah.
And he was enjoying it so much. There's a couple. If you YouTube it, you could find it. Mm-hmm. And so there's my brush with celebrity.
Wow.
And I didn't have my Enravio card on me. Otherwise, I would have given it to him.
I thought when he went over to you, he's going to say, "You're not Disco from the Glory Day show with Bruce and Disco, are you?"
It was a madhouse in Montauk. All the publicity.
There you go.
Anyway, so that's my brush with fame.
Yeah, I said I knew how to bring that up, man. Yeah. Now we can get on with the show here.
But anyway, you know what? He really was. He is the nice guy that everybody says he is.
Yeah.
You know what George told me? George the Sav?
Well, I know that Roberta knows him.
Right. He says you should have mentioned Roberta's name.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I didn't even think of that.
I did that. I went to see a band called New York City Hit Squad over the summer with my friend Magic Man. Mm-hmm. And that was a bunch of studio musicians, or I guess they were musicians that played in other bands. A couple of guys from Southside's band. Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel's band was there. Wow. And the singer was from Saturday Night Live. So at the end of the show, I was talking to her. I said, Roberta, and she did.
I think everybody knows Roberta.
Exactly right.
Now that we know Roberta, you know how they play that 6 degrees of separation?
Yep.
We're like 1 degree away from every person that's ever been on The Tonight Show.
That's true.
Since Jay Leno, right?
Well, or Saturday Night Live.
Every person that's been on Saturday Night Live, every person that's been on Jay Leno, all those young comedian specials, Rodney
Mm-hmm.
Dangerfield and all that stuff, because she worked on all those specials. So just try to get us a 6 degree of separation.
There you go.
We even go all the way to the White House. When Obama was on.
That's true.
There you go.
Oh, boy.
See that?
Yeah.
So that means we're 2 degrees away from Putin. How many people can say that?
Yeah. So do we have Swan on the phone here or what?
Do we have anybody on the phone?
Okay.
See if you can get him on the phone. So we'll talk to him real fast before we get Pete on the phone. We'll do the Donald Sterling thing real fast. All right. Our favorite racist, Donald Sterling.
Uh-huh.
Okay. He was in the news this week because obviously the NBA is kind of forcing him to
I think he turned the team over to his wife. His wife made a sale. Now he's suing the NBA. I don't know.
So let's just work backwards first, okay? Thursday, the guy who is the former CEO of Microsoft.
Right.
His name is Steve Ballmer.
Yep.
He's worth $20 billion. That's how much he's worth.
B with a B.
With a B.
Okay.
Or with a Mr. B. He decided, he presents a proposal for $2 billion.
Now, they were talking about the fact that the team might sell for 1.2 is what they, I remember they,
Do you know,
them saying some time ago.
before the season started, they rank all the teams, they were only worth $575 million.
Wow.
Do you think he might have overpaid?
Well, I think it's kind of like iTunes overpaying for Beats, to tell you the truth, I don't understand how they gave those guys $3 billion either, man,
I mean, the previously highest amount ever paid for an NBA team
Yeah.
was $550 million for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
Okay. Now, what they did do, they do value the teams, but obviously these teams haven't been sold. The Knicks are the highest, $1.4 billion. Followed by the Lakers, 1.35, the Bulls, $1 billion. Then the Celtics, 875, and the Nets, 780. That's a lot of cabbage.
And the Heat aren't even in that.
The Heat aren't even in
the
there.
discussion.
Not
with
in the
them,
top five.
On the cusp of going to a third. Well, they're going to a third final.
Okay,
now.
what is the top sports team? Top ranking, valued sports team?
I would say the franchise. My guess would be the Dallas Cowboys.
Close, but
Yeah.
they're not it. They're number 2.
Okay, who's number 1?
The Yankees.
Oh well, I should have forgot. How could I forget the evil empire there?
New England is number 3.
Really, another evil empire.
The Dodgers are number 4. The Redskins are number 5. All right, so let's do this real fast. First of all, the Dallas Mavericks owner,
Yes.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban.
Well, I don't know him personally, but maybe through 6 degrees of separation.
He has been on the Tonight Show. So anyway, Dallas Mavericks owner, he's the only one who kind of said when this first came out, this is a little tricky here.
I do recall him saying that.
Okay, because he was concerned with what our concerns were, or at least my concern was that he used the word slippery slope because it's a private conversation. At any rate, he went on the air and they were talking about if he was worried that if he is a dissenting owner, of that, like all 30 owners decide against him, he's going to be the one dissenting. He says, F him.
Really?
I don't care if nobody shows up for the games. If I think the ethical thing to do is to vote against 29 other guys, I will. I think you have to be very careful when you start making blanket statements about what people say and think,
it's like
as
gang
opposed to
justice
what
here
they
is
do.
what this thing is,
And you know what? I
respect
agree
the guy
him.
that says something like that.
And again, we are not defending Donald Sterling because just because of what he said, that's not what bothers me. What bothers me about it is that nobody was surprised that he said that.
Yeah.
So that means that in private,
well, that means there was a
who he
culture
is.
of these guys looking the other way, is what it was.
Exactly. So you know what? That's why I think it's all hypocritical, and they just jumped on this because of pressure.
Okay.
Of media pressure and whatever.
I agree.
Okay. So now he's going to fight it. Okay.
Look at that smirk on his face. Okay.
His lawyer has said he's going to fight to the bloody end. That's what his lawyer said.
Okay.
And even though Sterling supposedly signed an agreement with his wife, the lawyer also signed and said, do with the team what you want. He says he's going to...
I didn't mean that.
He says, the lawyer says he was in a state of shock at first. Now he's recovering and he's much more feisty.
Oh, yeah?
Why do they call 84-year-old guys feisty?
I don't. Well, what else are you going to call him? Shiesty. Good one. Good one there.
All right, here's a couple of quotes from Max Belcher.
Okay.
That's the lawyer's name.
Okay.
Max Belcher. Is that like Homer Simpson being called Max Power? He wanted to.
Does this guy burp a lot?
I don't know.
Okay.
But probably he's a maximum burper.
Yeah.
All right. He says, talking about the penalties in the proceedings, he says, I believe that what they've done is illegal and will not hold up in court. Okay, that's what he's saying. I believe what they're doing is a blatant invasion of his constitutional rights because they're using a tape recording that he did not consent to, and under California law, that recording cannot be used for any purpose for any proceedings.
Unfortunately, the cat's out of the bag on us, and the genie's out of the bottle.
That's the biggest problem. Although, again...
And this is really a labor thing. This is not like a lawsuit.
No.
You know?
Exactly. Then he said, so if the basis of their case is illegal evidence, they don't have much of a case. The whole thing is a pile of garbage. You know?
Well, that's what lawyers do.
Right. But, Sterling had to respond to
Yeah.
the NBA.
Yeah.
And part of his response said, this was an argument by a jealous man and the woman he loved that never should have left the privacy of the living room. And while Mr. Sterling said some terrible words in the passion of the argument, as he
This is him talking about himself, Mr.
No,
Sterling?
this is the lawyer talking about it. This is in the response.
Okay.
He'd already publicly admitted for which he has apologized, and he has not taken a position or an action.
Okay.
Okay.
Whatever.
And then he went on to say, while his opinions may be unpopular and false, they remain opinions. That's my biggest beef of the whole thing. He questions whether the NBA is willing to set a standard that an individual can be punished for voicing a negative opinion. And this is my favorite. If so, such a standard will make short shrift of many players and coaches. It'll also needlessly suppresses free speech. Again, I don't want to spend too much more time on this.
And like I say, it's a fluid situation. It seems to be. I think I saw today he's now suing the NBA. Is what he's doing.
Yes, now he's going to sue the NBA. And again, if all they had done was just leave him alone, the sponsors would have dropped down. The players would have no longer wanted to play for him.
Yep.
And he would have just come to the conclusion that he has to sell the team because of what he did. Right, wrong, or indifferent. But to force him because of something he said or did, you have a league that has, and every sports league has the same thing. You've got drug addicts. You've got wife beaters. You've got felons, right? You've got felons, murderers, right? And nobody knows anything about the owners of any of these teams. Why? Because it's irrelevant what an owner does in his. I mean, you know what?
All right,
we're going to hell in a handbasket here.
Okay.
All righty, let's switch gears.
All right, good.
All righty.
Caller, please identify yourself.
We have him on the phone.
Mike Swan.
Hey,
Mike
Swanee, you must be in all your glory with the Rangers going to the finals for the first time in 20 years.
Yes, I am.
And I think you must also be happy. I know you were never a big John Tortorella fan, so the fact that he's no longer with Vancouver, he's not with the Rangers obviously anymore, is great news for you too.
Yeah, and two of the key players in these playoffs are two of the players he jerked around the most last year, Chris Kreider and Brad Richards.
Yeah, that's true. That's
totally
true.
Did. And who's leading the playoffs in goals? Marian Gaborik. He totally destroyed that guy's confidence and drove him out of New York.
There you go.
I hope he's enjoying his golf game up there in Boston. And while we're at it, before I get a little further, let me tell the NHL and their officials that they can kiss my big...
Whoop, what happened?
Lose you?
What was that, Disco?
Oh, okay. No, nothing. I thought we lost you there for a second.
I think we had a sensor going on there, man.
Officials?
Well, he didn't. He said to kiss his big fat you-know-what.
Yep. Maybe they should have told the Rangers, if they wanted Montreal in the finals so badly, maybe they should have made the Rangers play without a goalie.
You know what? Henrik is unbelievable when it comes to these
I tell you, I was
situations.
surprised, though, that the Canadians didn't try to run him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if they really
mean?
felt
They
that
ran him
Kreider
in
took a
that
cheap shot
in
at
the
them,
last game.
why wouldn't they
They
run their
ran over
goalie? You know?
They ran over him in the last game.
Yeah, well, they should have done it in the second game. Is what they should have done.
Well,
You know?
It was ridiculous. Talking about running the goalies, I mean, the Rangers in Game 2 are getting all kinds of warnings about running the goalie. What are you supposed to do when the puck's laying there in the crease? Not try to score?
Yeah.
Not try to go at the puck?
Yeah. I mean, they're making a big deal about the Martin St. Louis thing, which it's a story, but, don't you think it kind of, to me, it's no longer relevant now, I don't think,
Right.
No, it came at a good time. I think it helped us at that time when we needed it.
Oh, absolutely.
But the players have picked up and they're playing the game. And let me say, I would love to have PK Subban on our team. He's a great skater. But let me tell you, in Game 4, he could have won an Olympic gold medal for diving.
He also looked a little gassed there in Game 6,
Yeah,
I thought.
he
You know, I
was.
think he played too many minutes, you know?
They used him too much.
Yeah.
They definitely
All right, so
ran him down.
I want your unbiased opinion here. Okay, Rangers and Chicago, who wins?
I'm worried about whoever they play, but I think they got a better chance against Chicago. Of course, until last night, Corey Crawford didn't look too good in this.
Yeah.
No, he looked. I think you should be more afraid of the Kings.
Yeah.
Because of
but,
Quick.
I think Quick actually helped Corey Crawford in the third period by headbutting him between the second and third period. But why didn't he get a penalty for that? The officiating in this whole playoff series, not just the Rangers and Montreal, has been horrendous. Even Mike Emmerich made a comment during Game 3 that
Right.
officiating was questionable.
You know what? And I've never heard them say things that they were saying about the.
No.
I mean, there was that play where one of the Rangers was about 10 feet offsides, and then right after that, the Canadians had 6 guys on the ice for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, the Rangers were. God, I don't know what they were looking at. I'm sitting there saying, Ranger guy is all the way in the Montreal zone, and we're just bringing the puck up, and there's no offside. What do you got 4 officials for? You might as well go back to 3. And speaking of, Montreal in Game 1 and Game 3 actually had too many men on the ice in the games, and actually when they scored their first goal in Game 1 was when they had too many men on the ice.
All right, we're gonna be talking to our good pal Pete Torgerson, and we will
Who's also
definitely
a referee,
We will
so-
be definitely bringing up the officiating so far. So we'll get to see if he
Well, you
really
might want to
has.
ask him about what he thought about in Game 1 against Detroit. Lucic frustrated because they're losing and they couldn't score, and he skates up behind the Detroit Red Wing player, sticks his stick between his legs, lifts up, and yanks him in the groin.
Yeah, wow.
No penalty on that either.
All righty, Mikey. Listen, we'll.
Good luck
let's
to the
talk-
Rangers there, Swan. Of course, you know that being a diehard Islander fan, I can't be pulling for that team.
I know,
you
but you're a good Islander fan.
There you go.
Step back in '94 when you congratulated me when the Rangers. as
That's
much
right,
as I know
Swan.
it
Hey,
was
listen, you
killing
know what? I'll be one of the first ones to congratulate them if they win the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
You know,
Likewise, when
because to
your
tell you the
Islanders
truth,
get back there.
you know, we're obviously big hockey fans on this show, and we watch a lot of hockey. And you know, and you too, Mikey. You know how difficult it is to even get this far in a playoff series. And
what gives us a chance to win, I'm not holding my hopes, but anytime you got Henrik in the nets, you got a chance.
Well, that's the way
Absolutely.
we always felt with Billy Smith, you know?
all righty,
Yep.
man.
All
Hang
right,
in there.
Swan.
We'll talk to
Good
you
talking
next
to you,
week.
buddy.
All right.
All right,
take care, man.
Thanks, Mike. That is our good friend Mike Swan, who
we
is
haven't talked to in a while.
No, we haven't. He is the single biggest Ranger fan, next to maybe Stu Schiffman.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's still in Florida and is still breaking our horns at the Rangers.
Well, he told me, keep on rooting against them. You're doing pretty good so far, is what he
All right,
told
so
me.
we're going
you
to
know.
try and get our hockey maven Pete Torgerson on the phone. You got him already,
All right.
or you trying?
I'm right here, guys.
Hey, Pete.
Oh, here he is, the wonderful, lovely, and talented Pete Torgerson, who has been, if you are new to this program, Pete Torgerson is our hockey maven.
He is.
As we call him, because he is the man when it comes to hockey. And this is his favorite time of year, as it's our favorite time of year. Of course, though.
Well, of course, it's
his
not
Boston
his
Bruins
favorite time.
are out.
After Boston lost to Montreal, that was a shock to a lot of people, I think, there, Pete.
Oh, absolutely. No one saw that one coming.
No.
You know, we just got off the phone with Mike Swan, our friend Mike Swan, and we were talking about the officiating in the series. Now, I know you've got a little officiating bias in you, but what did you think about the officiating so far?
You know, they're having a tough series. It's not as consistent as you'd like it, especially at this time of the year. What I think is happening is they're getting these memos from the front office. Hey, watch this, do that. Now these guys are thinking they're not just with the flow of the game, and you're going to miss calls. And the worst thing of the whole thing is that Montreal diving team. Finally, they caught one of the guys. He got hit in the face. Well, he didn't get hit in the face, and he throws his head back.
Yeah.
And he's rolling around like he's dead, and he didn't even touch him. And even on one of the last plays there with they called somebody on a slew foot on Subban. He just bumped his back, and he falls over like he got shot. They got to get that out of hockey. We're going to end up like soccer, for crying out loud.
And how do you do that? You'd have to really penalize them after the games, because the referees really can't really tell in the heat of the moment and the quickness of the game, what's real and what's not. These things have to be looked at post game, like they do in basketball.
Yeah, no question. That's a great starting point. But the other thing is all this head falling back. You get hit in the face with a stick. What happened to Terry O'Reilly and these guys? They just battled through it. You guys out there, you see them battling through it. But you throw your head back, oh, my God, my face. And you know what's going to happen? Now it's going to trickle down this year into college and high school, and these guys are going to get hit in their mask and throw their head back.
They have to...
Hit me in the face. I'm like, no, he didn't. He hit you in your mask.
Right.
Okay? Have you ever gotten hit in the face? Get away from me. So
I've gotten hit in the head. It hurts.
Yeah.
It's really much different than getting hit anywhere else.
Yeah. I don't know. The sport's going the wrong way.
So, Pete,
I could go on a rant, too. The other thing I hate is after you score the goal, now it's like a group hug, and then you got to run to the bench for the high fives.
Yeah.
What happened to just shine the guy's helmet a little? Let's go. Go ball.
This whole thing now where they run over to the glass and they jump up against the glass and all that stuff. Come on.
Yeah. It's getting like soccer. I'm an old school guy. It makes me crazy, all this.
I understand. The only time I believe in that group hug thing is an overtime goal.
Oh, absolutely.
A goal that ends the game.
When it's spontaneous. It's all choreographed. That's what makes me crazy.
Right.
That's true.
Makes me crazy.
So, Pete, Chicago and L.A., they're going to a seventh game, man. I really thought that L.A. had this series, they really had this in the palm of their hand, They've lost 2 games now, and they got to go back to Chicago, and I don't know what you're thinking, but I think Chicago's going to win this game.
You know what? They have to be the favorite, but the big thing is this will be the Kings' 21st game. So their first 2 series went to 7.
Yeah.
Right.
This one's going to 7.
Right.
They got to be running out of gas a little bit. But
they're 6-0 in elimination games.
I know.
They lost the first 4. They lost the first 3, won the next 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then when they were down 3 games to 1, or was it 3 games to 1?
Well, that was the first series.
No, the second series.
Second series they were down.
Yeah, they were down. They won the last 3.
Yeah.
They had to win the last 3, and they won the last 3. And
Against Anaheim, yeah.
Yeah, and now against Chicago, they were ahead 2-0. 2-0 going back to L.A.
You can't count them out. Quick is a difference maker.
He is. I think out of all the goalies, I think in Crawford versus Quick, I give the nod to Quick. I really would, But, Chicago's a tough team at home,
it's
though.
1 and 1A.
Yep, exactly.
Crawford's no slouch. But the thing with the Blackhawks is their big players came up. Patrick Kane, the Bruins used to compare Sagan to him. And they had a behind-the-scenes thing, and they're saying, let's get rid of Sagan. Like, oh, no, he's going to be a 40-goal scorer. He says, listen, Patrick Kane steps up in big games. Tyler Sagan disappears. Get rid of him.
Yeah,
So
Patrick Kane was big last night
Patrick
again.
Kane is.
Well, Kane
is
had
just amazing.
I think
But they're
Kane had only 1 point in the first 4 games, and he really woke up in these last 2 games. He had 2 goals yesterday. He had a big goal the night before.
Yep, crunch time. He comes around.
So, Pete, you think that LA is going to win Game 7 or what? Oops.
Al, we lose you?
Oops. Guess we lost Pete.
Oh, we had a power surge. What does that mean? Are we still on the air? Should we talk? We're going to talk.
All right.
All right. So, in
I
that
wanted
Chicago
to ask,
series,
I was going to switch gears with him a little bit. Did you see what happened with the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays?
oh yeah, yesterday.
Yeah. And it's like some bad blood from even last week where the guy tried to he stole third base in a game by 5 runs.
Yeah.
You know.
There was a nice article written in ESPN about unwritten rules in baseball. That's what precipitated.
Yes.
The conversation was that they had that's one of the unwritten rules, and somebody says, well,
that's like rubbing it in, is what it is.
But they said, what is considered, when do you stop?
It was 5 runs. It wasn't like they were up by 15.
Right. And they said, you know what? If the other team wants to stop hitting, then we'll stop trying to score runs. So in a way, I agree with that. But I don't know. So anyway, Chicago wins the first game. L.A. wins the second game in Chicago. They go back to L.A. and L.A. wins twice.
Yep.
Then
All right,
they come
Pete is
back
back.
to. Then they're in Chicago with a chance to wrap it up, and Chicago's got a 3-1 lead. L.A. comes all the way back, ties the game. They go into 2 overtimes.
Yep.
And Chicago survives to get to Game 6, and then they win Game 6.
Did you guys see that first overtime?
Yes, it was unbelievable.
Oh my God!
They said they said they finished the entire period in 27 actual minutes.
Wow.
And that's with a TV timeout probably too.
Yeah,
So
it had to be. Exactly.
No, there's no TV timeouts in overtime.
Oh, that's right. No,
Oh, really?
There's
there you
no
go.
TV timeouts in overtime.
So that was almost like constant action.
They
man.
said there were only, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you remember, but they said I think there were only 7 stoppages in play.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the whole period, in the whole overtime period. That was
Yeah.
fantastic. That was, even my son James, who's not like a tremendous hockey fan, he was enjoying it. You know.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, so let's. Pete, I'm going to go. Even though the Blackhawks are the defending champions, I just like LA in this last game.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. I love that 70s line. They've been playing great. The 2 young kids with Carter. I was never a big Carter fan, but man, he's got it going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm going to go against you guys on this one. I just think that Chicago has been such a good team at home all year, although the Kings did beat them in Chicago. But I think Game 7 in Chicago is going to be a Chicago victory.
and the Ranger fans are home hoping the game goes into 17 overtime.
Yeah.
The plane runs out of gas.
They were so happy that Chicago won yesterday.
And the Rangers have gone from a team that was playing what they play 5 games in like 7 nights or 9
Yeah,
nights.
no, they
and,
played
and,
like
and now they're
7
twiddling their
games in
thumbs
9
waiting
nights,
for the
yeah.
other team to find out who they're playing now.
This is huge. These days off now are huge.
Absolutely.
Just to sleep in your own bed.
Right.
Get going. So I'm wondering if the Rangers might fly to like Chicago Sunday afternoon.
Right.
Just so they're either at Chicago or halfway to LA.
Right.
and
That's
go from
probably
there.
very
Good
good
idea.
idea.
Final start on Wednesday, the 3rd, and then Game 2 is Saturday.
Do you want to know what
Yeah.
I don't understand, Pete? I don't know if you saw the whole schedule. Do you have the whole schedule
I
there?
do.
Okay. This is the Stanley Cup Finals,
Mm-hmm.
and the NHL could only find 1 game for a weekend.
Yeah.
They have
Game
one
2 on
weekend
Saturday.
game.
Yeah, that's true. Game 2 on Saturday. Everything else is a weeknight.
Unless, I guess, Friday night is kind of close, right? One of the games is a Friday.
Game 5,
is Friday.
if needed, it's out west, and that's on 13th. That's my
But
daughter's
you got
birthday.
Friday night Game 5. There is no Game 6. How great would Game 6 have been on a Sunday?
Yep, it's on Monday the 16th.
It's
in New
Monday
York.
and then Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
These,
so what?
these arenas have Jay-Z concerts lined up and all that.
So what are we talking about? We're talking about it could possibly go to the 18th of June.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's the latest the Stanley Cup has ever been awarded. You know, Saturday.
No, the strikes shortened the year with
Yeah, last
right.
year it
when
probably
Dallas,
was.
Dallas
Yep.
beat Buffalo. That was like the 4th of July.
Now, Saturday, last Saturday, the 24th, was the 34th anniversary of the Islanders winning their first Stanley Cup.
Bobby Nystrom's historic goal.
And I remember the Stanley Cup used to be that second to last week of May, usually before Memorial Day. And I remember because my wedding anniversary is the 21st of May. And I remember saying, damn, the Stanley Cup finals are going to be in the week of my wedding, of my anniversary.
Now
for
you
the
don't
rest
worry
of my
about
life.
that anymore.
No.
And May 10th, 1970, Bobby Orr.
There you go.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
right.
So Pete, give me 2, even though we'll talk again next week if you have time. We'll only be 2 games into the Stanley Cup Finals. Rangers and Chicago, who do you like?
I tell you what, I'm liking the Rangers against whoever.
Really?
Because the Rangers have the mojo going. And here's what else they have. They have the little divine intervention there. Who scores the goal in a 1-0 game the other day? Dominic Moore. He's had the big tragedy with his wife.
Yeah.
Who scores the overtime goal the other night?
Martin
Marty
St.
St.
Louis.
Louis.
Yep.
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
Who's playing the best hockey of all? Brian Boyle. You ever hear his story? He's one of 13 kids. His father was diagnosed with cancer. They gave him like a month to live. He went out to that place. Is it in Czechoslovakia or Yugoslovakia?
Oh, they got the blood transfusion thing?
No, he went and saw the cardinals and priests, and they put their hands on his shoulder.
Oh, wow.
The rosary beads turned to gold, the whole 9 yards. I saw this guy speak last year. talk about an inspirational story. They've got pictures of him when he weighs about 105 pounds, and he's a big guy. He's like 6'3", 6'4".
Wow.
And this guy came back. I just think it's the Rangers' year. Everything's
You know
lining
what?
up.
As much as it pains me, I kind of feel the same way, only I know a lot of people don't watch this show, so I can admit it here. I think the Rangers are going to win the Stanley Cup, but I'll never admit it anywhere else.
Yeah, I can't go with them. Well, I'm not rooting for them.
I'm not rooting for them.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they pull it out.
Yeah. Do you think it makes a difference?
The 20th anniversary, and you know what? Lundqvist is good.
He is, but he hasn't won a cup yet.
He hasn't won the cup yet.
Of course, he has the opportunity
he just
now.
took over the all-time playoff record over Richter.
Yep.
You know, Richter never won a cup until he got there. Eddie
That's true.
Johnson never won a cup, so.
Yeah. All righty, man. Well, you know, they
They're no Billy Smith, though. All right.
They only won one Stanley Cup in 74 years.
There you go.
And what were there were 6 teams for what? About 40 years?
Yeah.
Right? So in 40 years of 6 teams, 5 teams split 37 Stanley Cups.
We know we're a Ranger hater, okay?
That's what I say.
Well, you know why? They were so stupid back then. They used to do the territories, so the Canadians used to get all the French guys, the Maple Leafs used to get all the Ontario guys. And they gave the Rangers like some place where there wasn't even a rink.
All righty, man. We'll talk next week.
I'll see you guys Monday?
I'll see you Monday night. Yeah,
Sounds
we'll
good,
talk
Pete.
Monday. All right, but we'll talk to you here on the air next week.
Bruce, you're good?
Yes.
On Monday?
Yes.
All
Very
right,
good.
I'll call you guys
we'll see
on
you
Monday.
then.
Thanks.
All righty. We're going to take a real
Good job,
quick
guys.
break.
Hey, what are you guys all dressed up for?
I don't know. You have to ask Chuck.
Gee, I thought
Chuck
it was your
wants
first
us to
communion.
be more
We look
professional.
professional, man.
I thought you were going to your first communion or something.
All righty, Pete.
Good talking to you.
Thanks, Pete. That's our good pal, Pete Torgerson. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we will have our baseball maven, 13-year-old Bobby O'Brien, talk about the Mets. Stick around. Mr. B will do a song for you at the end. Glory Days on Ravio.com. Coming right back.
In Ravio.com. Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to Facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info.
Carson from the 505 on Racing Show, live every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Watch as I dive into everything from NASCAR and motor racing, only on InRavio.com.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or the flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural.
And organic.
But strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hi, this is Tony.
And I'm Dan, and you're watching
Dear Dad.
Oh, wait, you're not watching it yet, but you should be every Thursday at our new time from
7 to 8.
That's the new time. Dear Dad on InRavio.com.
Only InRavio.com.
Where else could it be? Tune in.
On the internet.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Welcome back to the Gloria Days Show with Bruce Disco. My name is Paul Discofani. This is Bruce Oler. If you're joining us here on InRavio.com. We are going to switch gears.
And talk about baseball.
Talk about those miserable Mets.
Yeah.
You know, before we left, the last show we did.
Yep.
They were
starting to go bad. They were having a bad road trip.
Well, they
were setting up to play the Yankees.
They were setting up to play the Yankees. They go into Yankee Stadium. They win 2 games in Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
They score 100 runs in 2 games. Then they come back to Citi Field and get shut out twice.
Right.
Okay. And when they and since then they've won 5 games, I believe. Up until
they are
this week.
9-18, I believe, for the month of May. I was checking it out this morning. I know you post something every day, you know, but after last night's 14-inning 6-5 loss to Philadelphia,
5 hours.
Yeah. And the worst part of it is that Chris Young drops a fly ball.
My favorite player, Chris Young. You know what? Let's talk through it. Talk to somebody and look at it through the eyes of a pure Mets fan.
Okay. Well, okay.
13-year-old Bobby O'Brien, who hails from Lindenhurst. He's a pitcher.
Is he?
He's a pitcher.
Well, that's one of the good spots about the Mets these days, I think, is the pitching.
And we had Bobby on our show earlier in the year during our baseball extravaganza.
Right.
And let's see if he's there. Bobby, you there?
Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, Bobby.
Man, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks.
How did I understand you had a pretty good year in your baseball debut this year, in your school team.
Yeah, it was good. We didn't have the best team, but we had a couple good players who kind of lifted the team up. We were in the chase for first place for a little bit, but we had a little bit of a collapse toward the end of the year. We ended 6-4.
Yeah,
it's over 500.
But they didn't have many pitchers. You know, it's hard to win in baseball if you don't have good pitching.
Well, that's exactly right. That's why I'm starting to feel better about the Mets right now. I mean, they still gotta do some clutch hitting here, but I think they're setting up themselves with a pretty good pitching staff. I really do. You know.
So, Bobby, I know you stay up late at night, even though your father thinks you're going to bed, and you watch a lot of the Met games.
Were you up last night till 1 o'clock to see that game?
No, I was not up that late, but I watched the highlights as soon as I got up. And it was just my favorite player, Chris Young, did it again.
There you go, yeah.
That's what I just said.
I don't know why they play him.
Well, you know why they played him? They had to double switch him in the game. That's why he was in there. He didn't start yesterday.
Yeah, but it just seems like every time he plays, it gives me another reason.
Well, but he had a pretty good game the night before. He had a 2-run homer, right?
He did hit a 2-run homer.
Yeah, but he's batting under 200. He should be able to hit a home run every once in a while.
Even a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while.
or as they say, a broken watch is right twice a day.
You know, I was last week on Memorial Day when they finally got rid of Jose Valverde. When he came in to pitch, I said I was at a barbecue and I said, they have to just release him. It's too much. I can't take him anymore. You can't. First of all, you can't have somebody in your bullpen that you can't use.
Yeah.
Why would you have him? Remember Oliver Perez? They kept him on the roster, but wouldn't use him.
You know, he was on Arizona. He pitched against the Mets in a game I went to on Sunday.
That's right.
And he's still hopping over the
foul line.
The foul line, yeah.
But you know what? They finally released him. Which was fantastic. And I don't care that Kerry Collins thought he was the greatest professional that he's the greatest professional. You played with all these players, you had all these guys come through. That's your poster child?
Yeah.
it seemed like Valverde was going to pitch good at the beginning of the season, but as the season went on, it just got progressively worse and worse.
I mean, didn't you feel good about him after the first, I think, 2 appearances?
Yeah, I think he got a save. He
came in, right? He got a save. He was exciting on the mound.
Then there was the game against the Angels. I think he gave up 2 or 3 home runs, and then it just got worse from there.
Yeah, so, but now you as a pitcher, okay, you have to appreciate, I mean, other than Montero yesterday, who really just didn't have it yesterday, these guys have been lights out. I mean,
Jacob deGrom, he pitches today. I mean, he's been a hard luck pitcher. He's got a 1.83 ERA, but he's 0-2, you know, and they had a chance to win. I think that was the game that Valverde blew for them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love their pitching staff right now. DeGrom, Wheeler had a really nice outing in his last outing. Even Cologne.
Yep.
He's pitching good.
Vic Black, they brought him up. He's looking lights out in the bullpen there. You know,
he's gone like I think 3 or 4 innings without giving up a run. And
now,
John
Bobby,
Leach
did you
and Dylan
see?
G are performing.
Did you see Black when he pitched in the first game against Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay.
Curveball is ridiculous.
He comes into the game, and the first thing he throws is a 98-mile-per-hour fastball, completely wild. Okay? The batter takes a step back.
Yep.
Because, you know, you throw 98 miles an hour, and you kind of make it look like you can't control it. Then you throw 2 sliders.
It's wild thing. It's
Right.
what it
You
is,
throw
you know.
2 sliders on the outside. You get them to lean in. Then you throw it up and in for strike 3. Oh my God, that's pitching. Bobby, you need to do that. I told your father that you need to hit somebody. You need to hit somebody. Now you don't have to hit them in the head.
Don't feel bad about it when you nail them.
No, if they're leaning in over the plate, you gotta hit them. Again, you know, you're not hitting them with the bases loaded in a tie game in the 9th inning.
Just to send a message.
Absolutely.
There you
That's
go.
what you need to do, because you know what? That's going to make them be, even if they're 1/100th of a second late, because that just in the back of their mind, oh my God, what's this kid going to do to me?
Yep. But the Mets, they got to do something about Chris Young. They really do. I mean, I'll feel good when Eric Young comes back from the stable list. He's on 15-day. He only went on at the 25th, so he's got a couple. I guess he's still got about a week to go.
By the way, did
back.
you see who they brought up? Dan Decker?
I saw that. So the Mets, as you said, now the Mets have 3 guys on their team. Their last name starts with a small D.
A lowercase D.
Yeah. They talked about it on SNY for a little bit.
I'd like to know what the chances of that are.
They say it's very remote.
It's a record, so I guess that's fine.
Listen, so we lead the league in one thing. We lead the league with the most players on our roster with a lowercase d.
The good news is the Mets are only 4 games out, and I think they're starting to get this pitching staff together. So, you know, a little timely hitting, they're going to compete.
What'd you say, Bobby?
Their bullpen is looking better.
That's right. That's right.
Mejia.
9 innings yesterday. They gave up 2 runs in 9 innings.
Yeah.
And one of them was unearned.
Yeah, because Chris Young forgot how to catch a fly ball, I guess.
Unbelievable. Have you ever done that in the outfield, by the way?
No, not like that.
Not like that. Well, how did you do
Well, you got a lot of life ahead of you, so I'm sure you'll do it at some point in time, you know?
I think, as far as the outfield go, they definitely should be playing Lagares. They have to play Granderson because they're paying them so much money. And they should be, once Eric Young comes back, they should be switching off EY and Bobby Abreu because Chris Young just isn't cutting it.
Yeah.
He's not. I would say, I say off with his head.
Yep.
I say they just release him and eat the cash.
I mean, they've made some good moves. Like you say, they fired the hitting coach. They released Valverde. Before that, they released Kyle Farnsworth. They just need to do something about Chris Young, and I think they'll be sticking around all year, you know?
So, Bobby, I have 2 questions for you before we let you go.
All right.
Number 1, how good of a coach is your father?
Well, I can't say that on the air because I'll never hear the end of it.
Okay.
Well, you're never going to
Fair
hear the
enough.
end of it anyway because you wouldn't say it. And number 2, now that you're a baseball star, you're a starting pitcher, you're on a travel team. What's the situation with the women?
Oh, I have to beat them away with the stick.
Ah, there we go. Good answer. Good answer.
You
Did
know the
father
star-
coach you on that one too, or not?
No, he doesn't coach on the
All righty, Bobby. Thanks a lot. Listen, next time, I know that you're going to be busy for a couple of Saturdays in a row with the travel team.
Yep.
But I think after the travel team is over, why don't you come into the studio and we'll hang out and talk for a little while?
Yeah, no problem.
Sounds good.
All righty, man. Thank you, Bobby.
All right, no problem. I'll see you.
Say hi to Dad for me.
Let's go Mets.
All righty. That is our good pal, Bobby O'Brien. Bobby Baseball. He's a good kid.
He is.
He's really very sharp. All right. We're going to take another quickie short break. We're going to set up for Mr. B's live song. You stay with us. You are watching The Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco on radio.com. We're coming right back.
In radio.com.
Hey, this is Gina Cotillo from The Gina Show. Come join us every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for celebrity interviews, Reality Reel with Billy Charles, funny stories with Brian Kinnear, and much, much more. The Gina Show can be found only on InRadio.com, broadcasting to the world, so come and catch us.
Hi, this is Tony.
And I'm Dan, and you're watching
Dear Dad.
Oh, wait, you're not watching it yet, but you should be every Thursday at our new time from
7 to 8.
That's the new time. Dear Dad on InRadio.com.
Only InRadio.com.
Where else could it be? Tune in.
On the internet.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRadio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRadio.com. Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info.
Alrighty, we are back here on the Glory Day Show, and if you are new to this here program, you will find out very quickly that at the end of every show, because you've stuck it with it so far, you get a rare treat. Mr. B will do a song for you every week on his little guitar. What kind of guitar is that?
That's a Fender.
It's a Fender. On his Fender guitar. He does a song every week. This week, he's going to do The Who's Behind Blue Eyes. So let's take it away to Mr. B.
Thank you, Dead Disco. Okay. Behind Blue Eyes, the Ooh.
The horrible Ooh.
No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be faded, to telling only lies. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours wholly lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free. No one knows what it's like to feel these feelings like I do, and I blame you. No one bites back his heart on their anger. None of my pain and woe can show through. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours wholly lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free. When my fist clenches, crack it open before I use it and lose my cool. If I smile, there'll be some bad news before I laugh and act like a fool. If I swallow anything evil, put your finger down my throat. If I shiver, please give me a blanket. Keep me warm, let me wear your coat. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. I should break the guitar now, right? Next week.
You know, we should get my son Kevin in here now that there's a drum set.
Yeah, that would be great.
My son Kevin in here to do drums back it up, because I'm banging on the table here like an imbecile. All righty, I think that's about it, right? How much time I have? 30 seconds. All right, thanks to our producer, Matt Martin, who can be seen each week right here on Aravio.com. He hosts In or Out, pun intended, on Friday nights from 6 to 7. Thanks, Pete Torgerson, for helping us out again with the Stanley Cup playoffs. And thanks to Bobby O'Brien. We affectionately call him Bobby Baseball.
And for Swan calling
in, too.
too.
Mr. Swan, good luck. And good luck to all you Ranger fans. May you finally experience what the Islander fans wish we had. Anyway, thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after week. And, of course, thanks to you, our loyal listeners, or watchers, or viewers, I guess, whatever they are. Enjoy your weekend. This is going to be beautiful. See you guys next week, next Saturday morning, right here on Enravio.com. So long, everybody.
Enravio.